North Korea's arsenal of weapons is growing. But do you know how powerful these missiles are, how far they could go, and what these symbols at military parades mean? We decoded the country's weapons to find out what they're capable of and how dangerous they could be. The Hwasong-16 is the country's latest intercontinental ballistic missile, which is a type of missile designed primarily to carry nuclear weapons. Hwasong is the Korean word for Mars. Experts point out that this one could carry multiple nuclear warheads, making interceptions much harder. It rolled out on an 11-axle launch vehicle during a parade in the middle of the global pandemic, and at an estimated 85 feet long and 9 feet in diameter, it's believed to be one of the largest mobile missiles in the world. Its approximate range of up to 8,000 miles means it could reach anywhere in the continental US, which is only about 6,000 miles away. But there's a chance the Hwasong-16 isn't even ready yet.
They will display weapon systems before they've tested them.
Bruce Bechtel is a professor and former intelligence officer who's written several books on North Korea.
And then we just never know until they do test it if that weapon system is any good or not. All we're doing is guessing.
The biggest missile North Korea has tested is the Hwasong-15, which is slightly shorter and narrower than the 16 and thought to have only a single warhead. During its launch, the missile reached an altitude 11 times higher than the International Space Station before landing in Japanese waters. That means on a flatter trajectory, it's capable of hitting anywhere in the US as well. Hwasong-15s were on display at the October parade too. The event began at an unusual time, midnight, and celebrated the 75th anniversary of the country's Workers' Party, symbolized by a hammer, brush, and sickle. The hammer represents industrial workers, the brush, intellectuals, and the sickle, farmers. Independent journalists didn't have access to cover the parade. The country's government distributed all the footage.
Pyongyang was lit up like a Christmas tree for that parade because they ran it at night, and that's unusual. So I think they did that for the effect. They wanted the West to see the weapons that they had.
That night, North Korea also unveiled a submarine-launched ballistic missile called the Puguksong-4. These types of missiles can carry nuclear warheads and fire vertically from underwater. Puguksong is Korean for Polaris, or the North Star. It's suspected to be for the enormous new submarine the country is preparing to roll out.
Currently, the North Koreans have one submarine that's capable of launching these Puguksong missiles. It can carry one missile. The new sub that they're building right now supposedly can carry 3 of those Puguksong missiles.
The Puguksong-4 hasn't been tested yet, unlike its other iterations, the Puguksong-1, 2, and 3. 1 has a range of about 745 miles, which is more than the distance between North Korea and Japan. 2 is a land-based variant of it, and 3 has a range of over 1,000 miles. Experts think the Puguksong-4 has an even greater reach than that, though they say what matters isn't necessarily how far the missile goes, but rather how far the submarine goes, and if it can get close enough to US territory.
Everybody says that they can't really affect us because our anti-submarine warfare is so good. Okay, people say the North Koreans can't do it till they do, so I think this is a threat that we're going to see in the next 5-6 years.
Just this year, North Korea revealed it had an even newer version of the missile, the Puguksong-5. Some experts were skeptical it could have been developed so quickly after the 4. Neither of them have been tested. Russia and the US actually have the most nuclear warheads, followed by China, France, and the UK. All 5 are part of the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, but North Korea withdrew from that treaty in 2003. And it has been actively selling some of its weapons to other places the US considers enemies. For example, this ballistic missile called the Hwasong-12 was successfully tested in 2017 and is capable of striking Guam. It's now suspected to be in Iran.
North Korea sold their first missiles to Iran in the early 1980s, and they never stopped. If you see it in North Korea today, you see it in Iran tomorrow. They're proliferating their weapons to places like Syria, the DRC, Uganda, Sudan, to raise money.
That money is funneled right back into North Korea's military, which is the 4th largest in the world. Despite being one of the poorest nations, the country spends roughly a quarter of its GDP on its military, according to a US State Department report. Its constitution requires everyone to serve, calling national defense the supreme duty and honor of citizens.
So the army is at the expense of the people, at the expense of their economy, but in order to maintain the Kim family regime, the army is quite big and continues to build and maintain on its capabilities, especially asymmetric capabilities like ballistic missiles, chemical weapons, nuclear weapons, etc.
No one really knows exactly how many nuclear weapons North Korea has, but some experts think it could be about 60. That's along with over 1,000 aircraft, 4,000 tanks, and 5,000 multiple rocket launchers. These long-range ones can travel past Seoul to hit anywhere on the Korean peninsula, including American bases south of the city. Recent versions have even been equipped with GPS to help with precision. But there's a lot about North Korea's multiple rocket launchers that we don't know.
When are they going to deploy them? Where are they going to deploy them? What's their mission? Is it just a terror mission where they attack, South Korean cities? Or are they going to attack specific nodes like airfields and training centers and military headquarters, etc.?
For experts, questions like that linger over the fanfare and patriotism of North Korea's military parades. This float reads, "My country is the best." And here, the figures of former Presidents Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il rise above a crowd of men marching with the national flag. Military parades are generally held every 5 or 10 years, as well as on important occasions. But under Kim Jong-un's rule, they've taken place every year or two. At this one, planes shoot off fireworks that spell out 70 in honor of the country's 70th anniversary of its founding. The weapons showcased at these events create an element of fear, which gives North Korea global leverage, whether legitimate or not. Experts note that what's on display is likely handpicked to give off the impression of strength and modernization, and that it doesn't actually reflect the country's true military capabilities. But the message of these parades is clear. They remind the world that North Korea is still relevant, and that it isn't stopping with its nuclear ambitions.
I would say they are currently the most concerning, imminent threat. They're going to continue to maintain their military, so A, that they can fight South Korea, and B, with missiles so they can threaten the United States. They're going to continue to do that as long as there is a DPRK.